Hello everyone. I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite Warframes. I figure I will do this probably for about 4 or 5 of my Warframes I do actually genuinely enjoy playing. This is Gara. This specifically is Gara Prime. I didn't really use the original Gara much, but I watched a lot of gameplay on her and ended up realizing that it's a Warframe I think I would really enjoy playing as because I play a lot of defenses and I tend to favor assassinations, which I can make two different builds for that type of thing. This Warframe is definitely really good for defense. Once we get into the moves here, you'll see why, and I'll probably explain it more. I do have the base stats on, so as we're talking through things, what you see in the yellow there for stats is base stats. The green is what my mods currently have it set to instead. So I'll start off with her passive. A chance to create a radial blind lasting 10 seconds when Gara casts an ability. I don't know the percentage of the likelihood of it happening. I'm going to assume it's a 50-50, but you know what they say about assuming. So it happens quite a bit for me. I've noticed it, and it definitely helps because if the enemies are blind, they have a high chance of missing. So we'll start with her first ability, Shattered Lash. Lash out with streams of shattered glass or hold for an arcing strike. Stats are boosted by the equip mods on Shattered Lash. So Shattered Glass is not something I use a lot. The only time I actually use it is when I'm using my ult in a defense. And when I explain the ult, I think it actually tells you to use this ability to cause the explosion. But when we get to that, I'll explain it again. If this is a build that you're trying to make Shattered Glass your main, they tell you should use Shattered Storm, which says when Gara breaks her mass vitrify ring with Shattered Glass, enemies struck by the glass suffer Splinter Storm at 100% strength. That is an insane thing to have for a defense because in a defense, when you lay your ring down for the mass vitrify and you hit that, chances are you're going to have enough energy to lay a ring down almost instantly again. So if you're just letting your enemies build up around there and then shattering it and they get hit for that much, it's up until I would say, I can't remember what it's called right now, Steel Path, I think it is. I'm pretty sure that would almost kill everything around it up until Steel Path. So that's always good to look into. Splinter Storm is her second ability. This is what I want to build into. It is basically something that gives Gara armor, or you can use it to cause consistent glass flow around enemies, doing consistent damage per second. It says Gara's armor splinters into a maelstrom of shattered glass. Allies who contact the cloud are fortified against damage. That's really nice to have. When I'm playing with friends, I don't really use Gara much. Now that I see that it actually works on allies, I didn't know that originally. I think it'd be good to have. Uh, but I want to build into this because I feel like I am super melee heavy in these games. I don't use the guns often, and even half the time I need to level them up, I'm putting them up into their slots, and I'm still using melee more than anything because I think the percentage is like 33% goes to the weapons per XP of every kill you get. So, assuming you're getting the kills with the weapons, that's how that works. If you use a ability from your Warframe and that kills the enemies, I'm pretty sure they said 100% of the XP goes to the Warframe and not the weapons. So if you're trying to level up your weapons, make sure you're using your weapons. You don't have to use those weapons to level them up, but it is a percentage base. So if you're trying to level a specific weapon up, just one, definitely take out the other two weapons and just have that weapon and start getting kills with it, because that means that that one weapon will get like 75% of the XP instead of a 33 or a 55 or whatever. Um, so, seeing I'm going to build into Splinter Storm, I need to look into mending splinters. Luckily, the syndicate that I'm using now is allied with New Loka. But Splinter Storm augment. For each target affected, Splinter Storm heals for 15 per second. That's really handy to have. Unfortunately, from my experience of the game, there's enough health orbs on the ground. I don't think I've had a problem with dying in this game yet. I do hear that Steel Path is insanely harder, and when I get to that, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, I don't think I've had any issues with dying. I died a few times on purpose with I don't remember his name. Aneros. It's the guy that uses the sand. He doesn't have a shield, and when he dies, you have a chance. He turns to sand, and you have a chance to suck the life out of other enemies around you by hitting them, and then you get a chance to self revive that way without having to use any credits or any of that stuff. So that's pretty cool. But other than assassinations for some of these bosses, I don't think I've been downed much. I'm sure it's different if I were to jump into something that was a decent amount of levels above mine, like just with random people. But I haven't done that yet. So as of right now, I feel like health isn't too big of a thing to look into for me. But I'll definitely want this for Steel Path. The third ability is Spectral Rage. Traps enemies in a carousel of mirrors, forcing them to attack visions of their true selves. Destroyed mirrors damage their attackers, as does the collapse of the carousel. This is definitely really nice to have. I just ran a defense, and I ended up putting the ult down, which keeps everyone outside of it because they can't come in. And I laid the Spectral Rage down in like a narrow hallway where they were coming down. And it was just, as soon as they walked into it, they were firing at it and not us. And then when it blows up, it was like wiping 15 people. That might be an exaggeration, but however many was coming up through that hallway, I'd say about 5 or 7. But it's consistent, and in defenses, like I said, you always have health orbs and energy orbs. Very rarely are you running low on energy, so it's one of those things where this is really good for chokeholds. Mass Vitrify, which is her ultimate, creates an expanding ring of molten glass that slowly crystallizes enemies who enter. When the expansion is complete, the ring hardens to block weapon fire. The ring draws extra strength from the health and shields of crystallized enemies, using Shattered Lash to smash the ring and send razor sharp glass flying. So that's what I was telling you about earlier. As you can see in the image, they can't come through the glass, and the second you hit with your first ability, it almost wipes everyone around it. You can tap it once and it will consistently expand to the duration. Let's see if it says radius. Yeah, 11. So base, no mods, it goes 11 out. Still pretty good. If you're in a defense and you're just trying to protect the defense, then you can actually tap it and a second later tap it again. And that way your circle is really small and you get crowds of people on you a lot easier. Um, I mean, that's just how I've seen it now that I'm thinking about it. Some maps might benefit from a bigger circle, but the two maps I played on defense wise so far was one on Earth and then the other I think was Saturn. So I'm hoping that that works out for the best. But the tips they give you is tap Shattered Lash to stab enemies with puncture damage or hold to sweep. Shattered Lash damage scales based on mod equips on it and her ability combo counter. Splinter Storm can be cast on allies and defensive objects. Gara and her allies can refresh Splinter Storm. I almost said Splinter Cell again. Splinter Storm's duration by phasing through Mass Vitrify's ring while it is expanding. I did not know that. Splinter Storm's damage is increased when Spectral Rage Mirror shatters within range. Destroy Mass Vitrify ring with Shattered Lash when sending near. When sending near. I'm sorry, I'm tired. When standing near, it increases the storm's damage. Cast Splinter Storm on an enemy to damage surrounding foes. Mass Vitrify Ring gains durability based on the health and shields of the enemies crystallized during the cast, and increase the vertical height of Mass Vitrify Ring by casting it from a higher point or in mid range. Mid range? Mid air. I'm starting to get too tired here. But I mean, so that's Gara. This is how my Gara looks currently right now. Um, I just want to get some of these weapons to master. I actually prefer the door clave, but there's a pole arm I have that's being made right now that I'm interested in using too. I'm not a fan of the Penta. Um, so far, I think Cernos is going to be my favorite. But yeah, so that is Gara for you guys today. Uh, I hope you liked the video. Just let me know how you felt about it. Thank you.